I do think that's a very dangerous thing to go down, because if government agencies have given out medical information that's been bad and actually killed babies for decades.
There's difference. Okay.
So you should always have the power to criticize government or podcasts, whatever, and you shouldn't be cancelled for that.
No, criticizing medical information by medical experts is fine.
Yeah.
Oh, you can criticize, but you don't have to be an expert in global warming. So anyway, but it's not. Anyway, there's something to about. But what I'm trying to say is,
really, that's a low.
So you want me to be an expert when I make a criticism?
No,
come on.
No, wait a minute. Actually, that's a good point, Vidu. Did we ask you? No, here's the thing. That's actually a very good point. Did we ever say you have to be a medical climate change expert to criticize? Did we ever say, like, Vidu, why are you criticizing climate change narratives? You're not an expert. We never said that.
You are actually saying, Vidu, you're actually saying that she needs to be an expert in order to speak for it. But so that's an activism.
Have to be an expert? Does Joe Rogan have to be an expert?
No. But on social media, okay. On social media, But that's not what. No, you're allowed to question these things, okay. But Harris was asking whether it's on social media. It's if their community standards has a policy that you cannot spread medical misinformation. I think that's a fair community standard. That is not taking away your right to ask it. You could go ask it, but social media could be like, okay, but you cannot spread misinformation on my platform. You have a right to ask those questions. The social media also has the right to be like, you cannot spread this information on my platform.
That's fair. They have their own policy, which is fair enough. They can do what they want on their platform.
But do you also understand? But Vidu, do you also understand, as I said, social media influencers cannot make specific technical give advices to masses when we know what kind of mayhem these kind of social influencers have caused. You and I cannot make specific. I would never argue with you on the technicalities of climate change. Therefore, I would also not allow you to make technical claims about something like whether vaccines work or not. Yes, I can give you a consensus. This is what we're saying. There is a scientific consensus that climate is changing. Earth is heating up. This is the overwhelming majority of climatologists say that. Okay, yeah, you'll find one or two climatologists who actually disagree with that. I forgot the name. I was reading this woman, but again, like, her story is very funny as well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I can't remember that. So it's the same way with vaccines as well. You're a social influencer. Let's say you got 2 million followers. Come on, man. You saying that you going against with no. This is serious business. This is technical. This is technical information. These people are experts. And yes, even that is possible, that people can, these big pharma can get something wrong. They can, but this is the reason why we had to wait a whole year for the vaccines to come. You know, the trials went on for so long because they were making sure we do have a system in place. They were making
Apparently,
sure that
what I heard was that the trials were expedited. Or
they were expedited, but they still took over 7 months, 7 to 8.
There will always be mistakes, okay?
Yes.
We should be able to tolerate experts making mistakes, okay? Yes. Because they will have mistakes. Their mistakes will be less. But we cannot let random bloggers or YouTubers, their mistakes, like them spreading their mistakes, the consequences of that is much, much far bigger than experts' mistakes. When experts make mistakes.
I thought of an analogy. Yeah, you know how many plane crashes have happened? Almost all of them have been done by professionals who are actually pilots. But nobody says that, you know what, I don't trust these pilots, therefore I'm just going to go in the cockpit and I'm going to fly my own plane. Nobody does that. Yes, the experts would still make mistakes.
That's a good analogy.
But still, no, but isn't that amazing that nobody actually says that I'm going to fly this freaking plane? Nobody says that, but all of a sudden, when it comes to something very technical like a vaccine, which we can't even see, these antibodies, I'm an expert.
That's actually, I'm going to steal that example. It would be like, yeah, you're right. If you're like, hey, you can't ride this plane. Like, well, have you seen the stats on how many planes?
I think there's a difference in
That's good.
I understand your analogy, but there is a difference. The reason why that analogy doesn't completely fit is because if you don't trust a pilot, no one's going to force you to get on a plane. But with the vaccine is that when it's mandated. So even if I'm not an expert, I don't like it.
Because you not getting on the plane doesn't affect me. but you not getting a vaccine affects me.
If you lived in a village,
very dangerous territory, because
no, it's not a dangerous territory.
The government can force people to take things if they don't agree with it.
True. No, you're right. You're right. It is where the line is. No, really, this is a dangerous territory, but and it's hard to figure out where the line is. It's hard, but the line is not that we never mandate things, and the line is not the government gets you to inject everything you want, right? But it is a very fine balance. But like, I think like some people on both end of these think it goes on the extreme, like, because I think you agree there's a point where certain things should be mandated, like certain freedoms should be taken away. Like, do you agree with it, for example, if there was a zombie apocalypse, right? Mm-hmm. And the government, the only way to save civilization was to just mandate everybody by force, to just hunt everybody down and vaccinate everybody, or else the whole world will end. At that point, you were like, yeah, screw our freedoms, get everyone vaccinated. Like, there's a line where you could see, like, screw freedom, force this upon people.
The thing is, the way the vaccine thing, the thing is, I'm not anti-vaccine, and I'm not even anti-COVID vaccine. Because I know there's a difference between, like, I'm not like anti-polio or whatever. Someone can be pro-polio vaccine and then anti-COVID vaccine, right? So I'm actually, I took the vaccine twice, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not even against it from that point of view. I am forgiving. Yes, experts can make mistakes, but they will get closer to the right goal. They're closer to the right than I would if I decided I'm going to start looking under the microscope. I wouldn't even talk.
Yes,
right. I get it. However, I'm not necessarily even against the scientists or the experts, but I am very, very skeptical of the people in government who have certain lockdown procedures, who have certain travel restrictions. That is a problem. That is the bigger problem, right? And this is what in Bill Maher on his show, he's a lefty, like vaccine guy, whatever. He was saying that Florida had no restrictions in terms of traveling, right? Because you could, whether you get a vaccine or not, they had no restrictions. And some other states were, like, I think New York, were heavily restricted in terms of traveling without a vaccine, or if you don't have a vaccine passport, you can't get into bars or restaurants. And he said there was literally no difference in terms of the amount of COVID.
Bill Maher is not a good source to measure these things, bro.
Well, he didn't measure it. He told people what was measured, and he's saying that there was no real difference in terms of amount of COVID spread in two areas that were very different.
You need studies for these. You can't just compare numbers like that, because you don't know what other external factors. You're not isolating for other factors. When you do a study like this, you have to isolate for other factors.
I didn't question every single one of your studies that you brought up. I'm just telling you this is what was reported by Bill Maher.
No, this is not a study. This is not a study. This is there's a difference between data and studies. Okay, raw data. We are not in a position to analyze raw data. That's why we appeal to research, not data, because you could, like, look at these numbers, like, oh, this number. Yes.
No, I understand. So, but he also said that one of the people that COVID was affecting was the two types of people that was either overweight people or really old people.
Right.
Where was the big push, guys? You need to lose weight. Or if you're
that's fair. That is fair. That's a fair criticism.
If you're young and, like, healthy, you're probably not. It's incredibly rare you're going to die from COVID. Incredible.
No. And if you want to get on the attacking body positivity,
COVID vaccine does not stop transmission.
No.
It does not.
Okay. We don't want to get open.
That's now established. It does not even stop transmission. But anyway, I understand your live stream.
It doesn't. It does. Okay, it does help you with recovery. Why are you muted, Harris?
He's muted himself.
I muted myself. Yeah, sorry.
It does actually indirectly stop transmission, because it makes, when you don't get the disease, then you don't transmit it. So it's not like if you have it, it's transmission.
I've got COVID at least 3 times.
That's not how studies work. That's an anecdotal evidence.
I didn't get anything.
I got anecdotal evidence, right? That's an anecdotal.
Yeah. Did you get any COVID? I didn't. I got it only once.
I didn't get it twice, and I spread it.
Yeah, he didn't get anything.
Well, I got it. I got vaccinated. I never got COVID. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. It doesn't mean anything.
So then it's just random, isn't it? There's no.
No, you don't use anecdotal evidence examples to figure out.
We have to.
No, we don't. This is what people do.
So here's the thing. The vaccine stops people significantly from getting the sickness, and the people who do get it, if they are vaccinated, it's much shorter and much milder. Okay, right? So given that so many less people would get the disease, right, that means they're going to be transmitting it less. So yes, it doesn't have a direct effect on the people who got it. It doesn't reduce the transmission. But given that less people will get it, less people will be transmitting it.
90
I haven't seen the research.
Also, a lot of the people. a lot of people who are vaccinated who still do get COVID, they don't need to get hospitalized for it. The whole point of the vaccine is to keep the hospitals at lower than their capacity. So it does do what it's supposed to do.
People who've been hospitalized for it anyway were either extremely old or overweight, generally speaking.
Yeah. But okay, so here's the thing.
And those people are likely
no, Vidu. Okay, I'm not extremely old or overweight. Okay, but if I get the virus,
you can give it to
somebody who's old or overweight, and through me, I could. And also, a lot of the problem with COVID is not the COVID itself, is the fact that the hospitals are not meant for this level of, are not capable to take this many patients. So the whole vaccination is supposed to make people sick over a longer period of time instead of all of it during a short period of time. Because if you have a huge peak, then so many people will die, not from COVID, but because hospitals are full. To have your questions answered on the next live stream, become my patron today. You can do so with as little as $1 a month. Link in the description below.